Good evening, everybody. We are about 7.5 minutes out from the first night of Advent of Code puzzles dropping. So I'm going to use a little bit of this early time that we have to talk a little bit about my tools and my setup here, and then we'll work on solving the first problem. So you can find all of my code on my GitHub. That's github.com/Craig-Chasseur/AOC2020. There's a link in my Twitch profile. You can go right there. And I'll also be posting these videos to YouTube the next day after the stream is done, once I've uploaded them. So, as far as my setup here, for my editor, I'm using Visual Studio Code. And, what really makes this is the plugins. So, plugins that I have, the really important one is the ClangD plugin. So this connects to a language server that is built using the Clang compiler from LLVM. And it gives all kinds of those, nice IDE features like type awareness, auto completion, jump to definition. You see, if I hover over stuff in here, it'll give me all this contextual information. All that is served up by ClangD, so that makes for a really nice IDE experience using Clang, which is just a really nice compiler, which is my compiler of choice. For the build system, we're using Bazel, which is an open source build system from Google. And basically, I've set it up. I've got my, set up for my workspace here. I won't go fully into how to configure it. There are guides on the Bazel website at bazel.io. But basically, I have it set up to import the Abseil C++ libraries, which you can get at abseil.io. Those are just some nice extra libraries for C++ that kind of augment the standard library with some additional cool stuff. And I have this little tool chain set up. Again, I won't go into the full details of how I set this up. I basically just followed some guides on the Bazel website, but set it up to use an LLVM-based toolchain with Clang as the compiler instead of the default system compiler, which on my Linux distribution is GCC. Because I just kind of prefer to work with Clang. It has some nicer error messages and tends to compile faster, and yeah, I just like it. So the clock is ticking down. It looks like we've got about 4 minutes until the first puzzle drops. So, yeah. Why don't we just kind of start putting a little skeleton together for how we're going to, for where we're going to put the code for the puzzle solutions. So I'll just, make a puzzles directory, and we'll make a directory under there for the first part of this, and then we'll just put it in the little skeleton of a C++ program. And we can put in the build file, the Bazel build system, make a little CC binary target. I guess I'll call it main. specify what the source code is. Eventually, we're going to have to put in a deps attribute if we link in any other libraries, like from Abseil or just some of these these I/O routines just to read files that I kind of pre-wrote here. And again, format document, and that I'll actually import the rules for that. Yeah, so speaking of plugins, I also have this Bazel plugin, which basically understands the syntax of Bazel build files, and it can use the buildifier tool to format them nicely. And then for source control, I'm using Git. Everything goes into my GitHub. I'll confess that I'm not actually very good with Git. It's not what I use at work. We use kind of a proprietary version control system, but my secret is that Visual Studio Code's source code management panel makes Git a lot easier to use. It just has nice graphical tools in there. So, I can, add things in here, and then, this menu basically interacts with Git on your behalf, so you don't have to remember all the various subcommands. So we've got, our super basic program scaffolding. I might as well use a little bit of the time we have here to go ahead and build that. So that config equals LLVM. That's just from the Bazel configuration to use my configuration that uses the LLVM toolchain instead of GCC. The copt, we might as well make an optimized build, and then it will be puzzles / day 01 part 01. And main is the name of the target. I can change from build to run and have it actually run the program. And it, did run it, except the program has no output, so it's kind of boring. I could put in, make this into a hello world. Run it again, and there we have the output at the end of it. Cool, cool, cool. So, it is now about 20 seconds until the first puzzle drops. It's exciting. Things are happening. So, go over here to my other screen, look at my browser, and see what the puzzle is going to be. Okay, there's a lot of traffic right at this second, I imagine. Okay. After saving Christmas 5 years in a row, you've decided to take a vacation at a nice resort on a tropical island. Surely Christmas will go on without you. Island has its own currency. It's entirely cash only. Gold coins and picture stars. Aha! So we'll need to gather up 50 stars once again. Okay. Okay, so what we need to do here is get the two entries that sum together to 2020 and then figure out their product. So let's go ahead and get our input. Yeah, there is a lot of... Well, in the meantime, while we're waiting on that to actually load, based on what I think the input is, the first thing we're going to need to do is actually read a file. And it looks like it's going to be a file full of integers, and there will be one on each line. So, Get that list of items. Now, I'm going to use one of those little pre-written I/O routines I had to actually read the file. So yeah, if I actually use the autocomplete, it'll put these includes in for me. I should be doing that more. Can keep hitting reload on my input because Advent of Code website is getting kind of hammered with traffic right now. So I've got this read lines from file that I wrote. This will terminate the program if I try and access the lines without, if the status is not okay, but that's fine. This is not production quality code. It doesn't have to be particularly error resistant. So yeah, I'm still also just on my other screen trying to refresh to get my actual puzzle input. We'll see where we get with that. Do a loop over the lines. Oh yeah, we actually have to put that in to reference the held value in the status or do the vector to hold our results. And then I believe the abseil library has a nice little, like a simple, just kind of A to I function. I'm going to be looking for that right now. Numbers.h, betcha it's in there. Let's see. Yep. So, I really should have like some assert that, you know, just always works in here, but, you know, just for the sake of making this look kind of good, I'll just use regular assert for now. I might clean this up later. Simple A to I, there we go. And make each line go into parsed there. So that simple A to I is just going to parse each line of the input file into an integer and tell us if it was successful. We definitely want it to be successful. The reason why I'm not putting just assert on this line is because assert, the whole thing gets compiled away in opt builds, and we want to, and it has the side effect of actually doing this, so we don't want to put the assert on the same line. And we'll just push it back on our list of items. And we'll get that list. So let's go ahead and try reloading for our input again. Come on, I believe in you, Advent of Code. You can give me my inputs. Still 503, service temporarily unavailable over there. Okay. No, we'll keep working on our way towards a solution. Our input will be the very last thing. So then we've got our list of items, and we want to find the two items that add up to 2020 and then multiply them. So, you know, it doesn't, the puzzle text does not say whether the two items need to be distinct. I think that they probably should be. So just the brute force of this solution for this would just be to, okay, I got my input, yay! We'll go ahead and save this. Okay, so I saved my input. Hooray! Okay, so we'll make it so that the first argument to this program will be just the file name to read from. I'll go ahead and read that. Put in an assert about the number of arguments, just to be good about that. Let's go ahead and just make a version of this that will yep, need to actually fix the build there. But this first version of it is just going to spit the input right back out on us, but it'll verify, we can verify that everything parses okay. Now it's time to actually add dependencies for the libraries that we use. So we use my own IO library, and we've got some stuff from AsSale, and I am going to just go ahead and copy these as is, so that I get the whole format of the path right. Oh, no, because that is in the root of the repository, so it needs to look like that. Hooray! That looks correct. Okay, so now all we have to do is actually do the solution. So naive solution for this, it's a pretty short list. It'll run an n squared time if we have to search through the whole list twice. We could probably pre-process it and do some sorting and do something fancy, but I'm just going to brute force it because it's a short enough list that n squared is totally fine. Okay, so we've got our list of items. So we'll loop through the items in the... Well, you know what? Actually, you can just... Yeah. Just nested for loops, baby. So we're basically looping over the list twice, outer and inner, and if outer plus inner, now this is assuming that, I guess technically this version of the solution assumes that we could have two entries that are 1010, and they could add up to 2020. I just searched the list and they don't, and there aren't any, so, whatevs. Turn outer times inner. We get down here. Start false. Turn 1. Yeah. So at this point, we shouldn't be returning like we would hope to have actually found a solution at this point. So now. Should have a program that actually solves this. Okay. Let's see if that solution is correct. Plug in the answer. Correct. All right. Brute force works every time. Okay, let's look at part 2. The elves in Accounting are thankful for your help. One of them even offers you a starfish coin they had left over from the past vacation. For your second one, if you can find 3 numbers in your report that meet the same criteria. Okay. So, I mean, we could just brute force it again. So, yeah, first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and just make a git commit with this solution. And then I am going to basically copy this whole thing wholesale to part 2, because we are just going to make an itsy bitsy change to it where we add a middle version of the loop. And again, you know, this is going to be, I mean, this is now getting to n cubed complexity, which is not great. And there are definitely, I can definitely, especially if we're going to have to make 3 passes through it, I would imagine that, you know, we can do a lot better if, like, say we sorted the list first, and we could do, like, a binary search on the innermost part, maybe part of some of the other parts, and, you know, we could probably do, you know, like, keep track of the solved sub-problems and do a dynamic programming approach, maybe? But the list still isn't that big, so I'm just still going to brute force this thing. You know, premature optimization, root of all evil, right? Okay. Let's try part 2. Okay. There's our big number. Let's see if we got it. All right. There are our 2 stars for today. So we did it. Day 1, easy, brute force. I am not saying these solutions are particularly good. Like I said, they're both brute force, but with a small enough list, you know, even n cubed, if n is small, doesn't really matter that much. Let's see, did we get anywhere on the leaderboard? Probably not. Yes, definitely did not make the leaderboard today. I claim that, you know, we're a little bit behind because of just the traffic hammer and not getting our input in a timely fashion, but that's not really true. Oh, thank you. I see in the chat now that Lemonade believes in me. Lemonade is my dog. He is my little pair programming partner. So he is coming to visit now. Now that we've officially put our solutions in. Hi, Lemonade. Say hi to everybody. Okay. Thanks very much, everybody. I'm going to be doing this again tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Pacific time. That's midnight on the East Coast for all you who are still up. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. And as the days go on, we won't be brute forcing everything, I imagine. And I might even try to make a faster solution here. But these solutions will go up soon on GitHub. And these videos will go up on YouTube as well. So thank you to everybody who joined the stream. I will hopefully see you all again tomorrow night. Bye-bye.